Hey humans, so I've been seeing a lot of discussion about Duet Night Abyss's Endgame, Immersive Theater, and the Immortal Repertoire right here. I decided to put together a quick setup, which I believe is going to be the easiest team. It's going to be very cheap. You might be able to tell this, but I'm recording this at the start of the morning, because the light of God is shining on my face just as it shines down on the blessed lands of the United States of America. And talking about that, the character that we're going to be bringing into the endgame is our favorite gunslinger, Lynn, who exercises her Second Amendment to destroy this endgame mode. Going into the build, there are only pretty much two things that you're going to want to care about. The first is going to be having her Intron 6. I got really far and really close with Intron 4 Lynn, but it didn't really seem like the damage is going to be all there until you get her to Intron 6, at least with the setup that I am showing you. As for the Demon Wedges, if you have her Intron 6, this would be pretty much the exact thing that you're going to want to run. You can have an Blaze Inspo instead of a Blaze Eternity. It's pretty much going to cost 6 track modules, which, if you're at this point and have not been spending your track shifts modules willy-nilly, you will have more than enough to create this setup. The Blaze Eternity itself can be target farmed in the Demon Wedge Casket, same with Duel. Inferno Midnight Sun cannot be target farmed, and Prime Morale can also not be target farmed. Devouring Wildfire can, though. Essentially, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to go to the Demon Wedge Casket right here. You'd find basically whatever you're looking for. So like Duel right here, you can see it'll bring you straight to there. It's going to be the rare drop from this guy, and you can do the same exact thing for literally every single other Demon Wedge. But right here, this is where you're going to be spending a lot of time, because this level 65 defense is going to be giving you not just the Devouring Wildfire, but it's also going to be giving you your Covenanter's Blaze, either the Eternity or the Inspo. If you're at I6, you can run 4 Eternities, or you can run 3 Eternities, 1 Inspo, but Eternity would be better for I6, because the skill duration gives you a better discount on the amount of sanity spent for your Q, and Q is the only skill that you're going to be using on Lynn at I6, because the E is pointless, because she's going to be putting the laceration on the enemies with her Gunpowder Revelry regardless. Now, the only ones that you're going to have any trouble with whatsoever is getting the Griffin's Inferno Midnight Sun, because that's going to be a random drop, but you are going to be getting it randomly while going for your Sphinx's Duel. The only other thing you're going to need is the Typhon's Prime, Morale, and you're just going to be getting that as you're grinding out for the other Typhon's Primes for your supports. And the 2 supports that we're going to be bringing into here are going to be both given to you for free. So all of your letters can go into Lynn and the 1 weapon that you're going to be needing. So Truffle and Filbert, you're going to get her for free from the story. The only thing that matters is that you level up this skill to 8. You can see right here that basically you have not touched anything else. And this isn't even going to be activating on Lynn, because Lynn's going to be remaining at full HP the whole time, so that resolve doesn't matter. Again, the only thing that matters is this, making sure that she's level 60 or 70, but 60 is the minimum, and having Prime Serenity or Prime Uplift on her. And the other character that you're going to have is going to be Daphne. Much like Truffle, the only thing that you care about is having Prime Uplift or Prime Serenity. Now, importantly, between Truffle and Daphne, you want Uplift on one and Serenity on the other, so that you're maximizing the damage and sanity regen, because these don't seem to stack. If you want to build them a little bit more, just put as much skill duration as you can. There is the Blue Eternity right here. There's also Wings Eternity that you can get from Covenanters, Squall Midnight Sun. But again, it doesn't really matter. You can see right here that there's basically no Demon Wedges that have any investment whatsoever other than the Uplift and the Serenity. And much like Truffle, you don't really need to worry about her skill level too much. Just make it so that this is as high as you can get it, because this is where you're going to be getting the damage multiplier from here. Now, this last level would bring it from a 16.2 to a 17.8. A pretty good boost, but not insane. This right here is going to be the healing, which is going to be one of the main reasons why you would like to bring Daphne. A lot of you may be considering bringing Margie over Daphne. Unlike Daphne, Margie may have some more tempting passives, like Strike right here over the crit rate, because the crit rate's basically going to be doing nothing for Lynn. And she also has this skill damage boost stacking passive right here. But what I've kind of found is that Margie does not provide more support than Truffle does. You're probably going to want Daphne a bit more, at least at this level of investment. What I found is that some of the times the supports can die pretty easily, especially if you've only got them at level 60. I would not really recommend bringing them any lower than level 60 into this, because then they could wind up getting really screwed by the scaling. But there are some particular phases, especially in the boss phase for the Act 6 and especially Act 12, where the supports can just get tossed around like a salad, and you would much rather have a hamburger. The extra healing will benefit you a lot more, and the damage difference, from what I found, is not actually all that much, because the main thing that Margie is doing is giving attack boosts, which I think are additive. Well, I say I think they're additive, but I'm pretty sure if I had a multiplicative 40% attack boost, it would be a lot more noticeable. Meanwhile, Daphne right here has a independent multiplier damage increase with her purification. Unlike Margie, which is a 40% additional increase to your attack percent, Daphne is going to be just multiplying the damage you're dealing by 16 to 18%, depending on your level of investment. For the weapon options, it's going to all be free stuff. The Wainwraith, you just get this when you're going through your handbook. The beginner's guide right here, rewards preview, you gotta complete a mission in phase 3. This will give you Wainwraith. If you haven't done that yet, I think you need to get on that. Excresduzo, this is going to be the only thing that you'd have to spend any secret letter clues on other than I6 Lynn. In this entire build, everything else is going to be given to you, and you just use this for the skill damage. I've seen a lot of people talk about Blue Current Pulse, and from my own testing, it doesn't seem like Blue Current is going to be doing all that much, because the skill duration isn't going to be that necessary, which we will see later. The extra dual pistol damage is not actually going to be buffing a large portion of what Lynn's damage is, because the big portion of Lynn's damage is actually going to be coming from her laceration stacks, which is why the I6 is so important, because that makes it so that her Gunpowder Revelry is going to be inflicting laceration on the enemies, stacking it up and detonating it. It would be much better to have the skill damage on her. Now, for your support weapons, you're going to want to bring the Arc Light Apocalypses, and you will have received this from the Level Up Beginner event. And the final thing is going to be just any weapon that has skill duration. Screenshot you can get from a side quest in the main city that we run around in, Ice Lake. It's this black market one. I don't really remember where exactly I got it. Just do enough side quests around here, you'll eventually get your hands on this. But you can also use Osteobreaker if you pick that up, because if you don't have Screenshot from the side quest, you would have picked up Osteobreaker instead. And again, just skill duration. It really doesn't matter just so long as that has skill duration. In fact, it doesn't even matter that much, because it's a weapon for the support. The only thing that really matters is that you have this, so you can get the extra buffs from it. The final thing that you're going to be bringing in is going to be a Pyrutail. And this is potentially the best option to be bringing in on Lynn, maybe even over the Battle Pass one. Now, the Battle Pass one will definitely have a more potent damage effect, especially if you compare the passive. However, what the Pyrutail does is it gives you a Sal Volatile, a Tranquilizer Dewdrop, and an ammo supply chest. The only thing that we really care about is the Sal Volatile, because that's going to be giving you basically a big jump of like 30 sanity when you cast the skill. And this is going to be very important for the boss phase, where you're going to be running into some more issues with your sanity regen compared to the mobbing phases. And the passive skill just increases the pyro attack of the character and also increases the stats provided by Phoenix by a small margin. And you can upgrade this to greatly increase its effects, but you can also add traits on top of it, which you can lower the support skill to cooldown. That's going to be great. The only other one that I'd say really matters is the attack increase. Everything else just kind of doesn't matter for what we're doing right now. Just the attack and the support skill cooldown. If you got a Pyro Tail and you just need that little bit extra to help you clear, that's something you can do, but again, it's not going to be necessary at all. Also, I forgot earlier to show off the demon wedges for the Constance weapon. The wedges for the other two just straight up don't matter. We don't even have wedges on the pistols. You don't need gold wedges here. You can clear it with purples. The goals are just a very slight increase to the percentages on these, at least at the +5. It'll obviously be much higher at +10, but again, like I said, fully unnecessary to have golds over purples. So without further ado, we can go into the Immersive Theater, and you can see right here that Act 12 has already been cleared, so we can reset the challenge right here, and we can see right here that it's going to be rather simple. The mobbing phases are going to be rather ignorable. There's one big tip I have for that, and it's to not fall asleep. But really, you just jump up in the air, you cast your ultimate, and you just hold down M1. I mean, I guess you could do a little dance. You got an entire other hand. I don't know what you're gonna do with it, but normally you wanna stop after like 12 seconds. And start back up again when you've built up your stacks. I was just showing that, again, like, it really just doesn't matter what you do. As you defeat enemies, they're going to drop Cell Volatile, which is going to give you your sanity back. I wish sanity was easier to regen like that in real life, but that's not the world that we live in. You just start off, you jump up in the air, you hold down M1, you watch that timer tick down, it goes to 0, you cancel it, you activate your support skill. If it's off cooldown, you jump up in the air, and you do it again. It's the exact same thing for 4 stages. Lynn just attacks all the enemies that you can see on screen. You can see that the Gunpowder Revelry isn't actually doing that much damage itself. Then the enemies just kind of explode. That is a funny thing that we call napalm, and by napalm I mean her laceration stacks. It's kind of like medical debt, where like the gunshot doesn't actually do that much. However, the enemies get saddled with so much debt from the surgery to remove it and to fix them back up that they eventually just decide to end it all on their own. But in reality, what's happening here is that the laceration gets activated, then it gets stacked up to the maximum of 10 times, and because of Lynn's personal passive, once laceration gets stacked up 10 times, it will detonate, dealing the remaining damage of all 10 stacks, which is about 3,000 multiplier, which is why the enemies just kind of... You can see right here that we have already reached trial level 4. It's just the same exact thing. Jump up in the air, hold down M1 until your stacks go down, or until the buff runs out, and cancel. Land, activate support skill, let 3 to 4 stacks, you do it again. Even a Genshin player could beat this with this setup. Not that it is actually that challenging for them. They have a very, very complex combat system, much more complex than Withering Waves. Alright, well, going into the boss phase, there's actually a few things that you're going to want to do. Like, obviously, you're going to want to activate the skill, and again, you're just going to want to pop up the air, hold down M1, and just, you're going to see the health bar is going to be going down, and then it's going to, like, do a big jump. The big thing for the boss is that you're going to want to be preserving as much sanity as you can, so you really, really do not want to be attacking while you have your passive offline. See right here that I've already ran out of my energy, so that's why using these support skills is important, and I'm just going to let her do her little cutscene attack right here. It's annoying. She did it 5 times. Sometimes she does it twice, sometimes she does it 3 times, sometimes she does it 5 times. It's annoying. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to attack her until she is just about halfway. I'm going to wait until she does like the Chrysalis of Broken Dreams again. So right here, I'm going to activate Pyre Tail. Hopefully, I'm able to defeat... Okay, unfortunately, I exposed her weakness right before we went into the mobbing phase. So what I can do here is I can start over, and this is something that you can do if you're having a sub-optimal run, and it will actually start you with full support skill cooldown, full sanity, full stacks. You can just restart again. So that's really, really nice. If you die yourself, or if the timer runs out, you will have to start all the way again from the very beginning, which is really unfortunate, but you can just start again. I can activate Pyre Tail again. I probably should have waited for this to finish before I activated, but you can see right here, I've got her just before her next phase. I dealt a lot more damage this time around, and I'm going to wait, let my sanity stack up, and wait for the boss to start her, like, Chrysalis of Broken Dreams. Right here. I can activate Pyre Tail, I can activate Gunpowder Revelry. She's going to start the mobbing phase. Since I'm up in the air, I can just take a look down at all of those little peons on the ground as they get dropped. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to expose the weakness, and I'm going to wait a couple seconds for my Gunpowder Revelry to stack back up. You can see that I'm going to basically almost finish the entire boss fight right here. We are essentially just done. All we have to do is just wait out this cutscene right here, the Lament of Fading Light. She's just going to throw out 3 different, like, sets of tornadoes. It's so easy to dodge. You just sprint into the wall. You iframe through a tornado if it flies by. You can see right now that she's vulnerable, so we can leap up into the air, just start laying into her again. She's going to do her slams right after, but it really doesn't matter. We can just hold down the trigger. We've got more than enough damage and more than enough sanity to clear the stage. I can just say, God bless the USA. Thank you for the Second Amendment. We got rid of the bad guy. But it was a very, very clean run all the way through. If you're having a bad run, you can just restart there, and you don't have to go through the 4 stages again. It starts you out at a better spot than you would probably be walking into it. There's, like, basically no investment on this team whatsoever, apart from the I6 Lynn. Considering that this is level 70, and we are not even 2 weeks into the game, the fact that we can clear it like this, get all of the important stuff, all of Psyche's secret letters, the majority of the ticket stubs, it's really, really nice. And there's so much more room for improvement in this build. As soon as you reach level trial rank 60, you're going to get level 80 characters, you're going to get level 10 skills, you're going to get this next passive, which is going to give Lynn even more skill duration. You can get extra copies of the Wayne Wraith and of the X-Chris Duzo, put on better demon wedges for her weapons and for herself, stacking up the gold wedges themselves to give her more multipliers. You can level up the Genimon, put Genimon traits on it. You can put investment into your supports because Truffle and Filbert have a really, really good I2, and Daphne has a really, really good I1. Just straight up giving all allies a 10% damage dealt increase whenever she activates her domain expansion. If you're having any struggle with this whatsoever, you can just invest slightly more, and we've got plenty of time, because this is sticking around for another 18 days and 7 hours at the time of recording, so you really don't have to sweat it. You can wait till you reach trial rank 60, or you can use this build beforehand at your i6 Lynn, but this is just what I found to be the easiest and the cheapest way to get through all of these stages in the Immersive Theater. When it comes to the previous stages, they are going to be significantly easier. Every single other boss in the Immersive Theater is much, much easier to beat and has much less HP than the Enclosioneer. I would even say that Act 6 is more difficult than Act 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. But that just about does it for this video covering this Endgame team. If you are enjoying my coverage of Duet Night Abyss, be sure to subscribe to my channel so that you don't miss a video. And if any of this stuff helped you out, or if you think that there are some other teams that I should check out in the near future, be sure to let me know in the comments down below. Personally looking at doing some stuff with Psyche and Outsider on my own account, especially taking a look at other supports like the main character. So make sure to stay tuned for that. And with that all out of the way, thank you all so much for watching. And as always, God bless the USA. I'll see you next time.